Swagler, and I'm at Williams College in Massachusetts.
Okay. Matt, so tell me, what do you think of the conference so far?
Well, I've just been really impressed by the range of experiences that people have been talking about, and just the sort of depth of organizing also that a lot of the folks coming from, particularly from East Africa, have been talking about, and the challenges that they've been facing. I just think that's been sort of the most interesting sort of aspect of really sort of getting to hear people sort of grapple with the challenges that they're trying to work through in a lot of their local organizing work.
Yeah. And what do you think some of those key challenges are?
Well, I think the one of the themes that I think has really come forward and that the conference has really sort of succeeded at doing is, there's like Issa Shivji was talking about at the end of the last panel, there is sort of this continued interest in socialism that in some ways comes out of, I think, both the sort of traditions of the early kind of post-colonial movements around African socialism, but then also the sort of brutality of neoliberalism and structural adjustment. And so there's this kind of trying to rethink how do we sort of reapproach this question of sort of fundamental systematic change, restructuring economies around human need, really the opposite of what neoliberalism has been about. And so I think that what's been most interesting is people trying to sort of think about how to do that in a situation where the momentum is not seemingly on our, going in the same direction as it was in the 1960s or the 1970s. So people trying to really grapple with, given how difficult even the conditions of sort of organizing in daily life are under neoliberalism, how do we once again try to fight for that socialist alternative?
Okay. And so tell me, you presented yesterday, your talk was about the history and legacy of the Russian Revolution 1917 in Africa. So what did you make of the response to your presentation?
That's a good question. I got a lot of really good feedback on it. I think that, what I was trying to do there was sort of not just kind of talk about the Russian Revolution and the Arusha Declaration as kind of two, different sort of interesting kind of events in the history of sort of socialist thought, but actually talk about sort of how those two things really linked up and how they're actually related, and how important the sort of Russian Revolution, but then also the loss of the Russian Revolution was to the sort of frameworks that were on offer, at the time of independence. And I think that, it's been interesting. A lot of people have come up and told me, I didn't really know much about the Russian Revolution. And it's interesting coming from the U.S. where, people know about the Russian Revolution. Well, some people learn about the Russian Revolution, but people don't know about the Arusha Declaration. Here, having a lot of people come up to me and say, well, of course I knew about the Arusha Declaration, but I never had really thought about it in the context of the Russian Revolution. So I think putting those two things together was nice to sort of get that perspective that was actually, sort of useful. Some people found that useful.